So in this segment, we're going to be talking about 3/4 of UK firms say Brexit deal has not boosted business. Shock. So more than 3/4 of firms say the government's post-Brexit trade deal with the EU has not helped them to expand their business in the last 2 years, despite promises that Brexit terms were oven ready. How would the TCA help businesses expand? Brexit has made it harder for businesses to import any raw materials they may need, and staff they may need, also obviously getting staff. And it's also made it harder for them to export any goods. It was always going to reduce business margins at best. A survey by the British Chambers of Commerce has prompted business lobby groups to present the government with 5 urgent recommendations for enhancing the agreement, which has left many exporters struggling to sell into the EU under the current terms. More than half, so 56%, of BCC members surveyed who trade with the EU said they had experienced problems complying with the new rules for exporting goods, while 45% reported issues trading in services. Overall, as many as 77% of firms trading under the deal said it had not helped them to increase sales or expand. It's just funny, isn't it? Because they have to point this stuff out to the government, but we all know this to be true. These are not new rules, so we can see that the vast majority of businesses are struggling, or at least the SMEs are struggling with the trade aspect. We've seen their costs go up for logistics as well. There is not a Brexit benefit for these businesses unless you're a customs agent or you run some sort of customs firm. The BCC's Director General, Siobhan Haviland, said businesses feel they are banging their heads against the brick wall as nothing has been done to help them. Almost 2 years after the TCA Trade and Cooperation Agreement was first agreed, the longer the current problems go unchecked, the more EU traders will go elsewhere and the more damage is done. Something I spoke about a lot. He's right, but what do you expect the government to do here? This lot had no idea what they were doing. The government, I mean, why would they bail out businesses unless they're funding the Tory party? They won't care. Boris Johnson famously said, "F business." Why would he care? The group's members, the majority of which are small and medium-sized businesses, highlight difficulties administering EU rules on VAT, inconsistent application of customs rules, and new limits on business travel. And I don't know what they mean by inconsistent customs rules. Are they talking about different EU countries having their own customs rules, or that some products are checked by customs and some aren't? We know different EU members have different ways their customs are implemented. The UK was taken and lost in court over us being super leaky when it comes to customs and checks. So I don't know specifically what they're talking about, but yeah, the EU do have a customs system called OLAF. On regulation, 2/3 of members said they would prefer to continue using the EU CE mark of product quality instead of switching to the UK's new post-Brexit equivalent, the UKCA mark. I'll deal with my cat in a minute. If you can hear him, he's just the door is his enemy. That makes sense, as the CE mark means that goods have been properly regulated by the EU. Whilst we don't have, we don't know what hurdles you need to go through to get the UKCA mark. Plus, it means UK manufacturers have to go through extra hurdles, which businesses don't want to do. You have to get the CE mark and the UKCA mark. The Shadow International Secretary Nick Thomas Simmons said this is a damning report which shows the mess the Conservative Party have made over their trade policy for over 3/4 of business. To say that agreements struck by the government are not helping them to grow or increase their sales is unacceptable. And Labour's glorious solution are an SPS agreement which would help but won't resolve the main issue businesses are facing. Labour keeps saying the Tories have done so much Brexit damage but don't offer solutions because of the Red Wall or Mortgage Man or something. One key demand from the BCC is for the government to seek an early resolution to the standoff in the Northern Ireland Protocol to stabilise the trading relationship with the EU. The BCC's other proposal includes seeking an agreement to lift veterinary checks on agri-food exports and negotiating an opt-out from the rules that force small exporters to work with a fiscal representative in the EU in order to levy VAT. So I don't know about the fiscal representative stuff. The stuff I'm not aware of. I know you need some sort of I think it's an EORI account in order to do with VAT, but I don't know if you needed like a physical person or some sort of people to deal with VAT and things like that. But even with an SPS agreement, you would lower the amount of vet checks dramatically. There still would be some checks, and you'd still need the vet certificates. It's a half measure, but even then, it's better than what we have now. But I guess it's something that businesses think is achievable. But when Labour push them again, they're not the best, but it's funny that these kind of proposals are very similar to what Labour's promising. So I do wonder if the businesses have kind of nicked the Labour's ideas, or if Labour have nicked theirs. And this is my favourite bit of the article. So it says, this article was amended on the 22nd of December 2022 to make clear that it was the terms of Brexit that were oven ready that were causing the problems. You know, someone at The Guardian has a sense of humour and I respect it. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.